once the approach has taken place, the takeoff has taken place, we've gotten to a point where we have understood the timing. So that means we have slowed things down in our mind so that we can really feel ourselves rotate over the bar. The approach will take care of the rotation. It's not just the rotation itself that we're thinking about, but it's finishing the jump. It's clearing the bar. Spatial awareness to a high jumper is very valuable. You know, when kids are young and they learn gymnastics and they understand where their body is in relationship to space, when they have no contact with gravity, that is absolutely important. And that's a hard skill to teach. That is a hard skill to teach. We can't let fear dictate us as we leave the ground. Fear does hold us back in the high jump. It is important to, you know, I've tried to use the analogy sometimes. If you were a little kid and you're jumping off the diving board and your friend said, let's do a gainer. You know, a gainer when you jump off the diving board and try to perform a backflip. Well, the reality is we have to appreciate that Mother Nature and physics will take over. And with any momentum going forward, we're still going to be going forward. We are not afraid to land on the mat. The mat will, any kind of momentum. From a 3-step, you're going to land on the mat if it's in a proper pattern and the takeoff is proper. You can't be afraid to let your body rotate as it needs to, and you can't be afraid to fight it as much as you want to really stay away from that bar. So spatial awareness is absolutely important. There are kids who can get over bars. There are athletes that I've worked with that can clear bars, and they cleared the height of the bar only. Where spatial awareness to me is important is we always want to try to jump above the bar, not to the bar. When we jump at our opening height, for instance, if a guy is opening at 6 feet or a girl's opening at 5 feet, we don't try to jump 5 feet. We try to jump as high as we can. We try to jump 5'6", 5'7". You know, if a guy's opening at 6 feet, I still want to see that 6'7" jump, that 6'8" jump. We should be able to see that jump at any bar. With spatial awareness, you should understand that we don't, I've had high jumpers, even in practice, I have taken the crossbar off and tried to perform the perfect looking jump without a crossbar. Because at the end of the day, you really don't need to know where the crossbar is. You should be able to jump that using those mechanics without a crossbar there. And that is difficult to do. But to just jump to a bar and think about only where the bar is and just pay attention to our spatial awareness and get over a bar, that's not really the objective here. The objective is to jump as high as we can on wherever the bar is placed. One common mistake we see is the bar goes up. We think mechanics need to change. We need to be more aggressive. We need to try a little bit harder. And that's a common mistake that the athlete thinks prior to that bar being raised. Sometimes I feel like if an athlete just puts a bar up and has no clue where it's at, they're probably going to perform better. But when they know it's at a PR height, when they know that that bar is at a height that's going to challenge them, they change their mechanics. A very common mistake that athletes make.
The biggest obstacle I think I've faced in track and high jump, and is shared with a lot of high jumpers, is that mind-body balance. Understanding how your body reacts and responds to training, and understanding your own mind and how to overcome the obstacles that come across in your own head, right? Because there's so much of this sport that's mental, right? Because when it comes down to competition, high jump, it's you and a high jump bar, and that's it. So there's a lot of things that you have to dial in personally. There's no exterior things that are going to be changing or altering you, because it's just you and the high jump bar. So figuring out how to best marry the way that you respond and feel on the track with how you think about it and your way of competing are probably the biggest challenge that most high jumpers face, because it's so easy to get mental out there and overthink things and think about your training when you should just be thinking about competing. And it just comes down to that balance and knowing your body and knowing the best way to motivate yourself to where you're comfortable in competition.
For a long time, I had one headspace that, okay, when I high jump, I'm in this headspace. And what I figured out is that you need to have two separate headspaces, one for practice and one for competition. And the one for practice is when you can nitpick yourself and say, oh, you did this little tiny thing wrong. You need to fix that on the next one. Think about this small detail. Think about that detail. And it's a learning environment. And you need to understand that you're not going to clear as high bars at practice sometimes. And that's okay, because if you're learning something specific, then it's okay to have the bar, down at 410 or whatever while you're jumping 6 feet in a meet, versus the competition headspace where you need to bring confidence. There can't be any line of doubt. There can't be, oh, you need to nitpick. Oh, I don't think you did this quite right. There can't be any of that doubt. You have to come in confident and say, I trained this. I know how to do it. My body knows how to do it, and just trust yourself. So I think definitely having those two different headspaces and saying, okay, I'm at practice or I'm in competition made the biggest difference for me.